Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Um, yeah, good afternoon for all the honorable participants in this general stadium. I'm so happy that so many students join in. And then also for the distinguished guests, Birgitte Wergeland. I'm trying to pronounce your name correctly. Okay, she is an associate professor from Agder University, Norway, and she is a teacher trainer at a Norwegian school. And then today she's going to deliver a very excited topic. Is about 21st century skills. What does it mean in education? She will deliver some slides, and then after that, the students or all the participants can ask further questions or sharing your experience about the teaching and learning in Indonesia context. It's about 30 minutes. It will be fine for you, Birgitte, because she's catching up the boat to go back to Gili Trawangan. Without further ado, time is yours for Mrs. Birgitte Wergeland.
Thank you very much. Thank for your introduction, both of you. And also thank you for coming here. And I hope we can share some thoughts and reflections together about the 21st century skills in education. Because like you say, the future starts today, actually. And we all have to create the future. We maybe think that it is a circle that keeps repeating, but it isn't. New things happen every day. And it is development, some good things, many good things are happening. But we also see there are some things that is not so good. And that's what 21st century skills are about. Like she said, I work at the University of Agder. I'm a teacher training, and that's where my heart belongs. I feel a very big responsibility about that role of being a teacher trainer, because the children need good teachers. And it's my job to build competence so my students feel empowered to be good teachers, and also that they have the competence of teaching. And that's not so easy, especially when we think about the 21st century skills. And in Norway, we have a big change now. We have a new curriculum. We don't change it so often like here in Indonesia, but we did change. We got a new one in 2020, and we are still working on what does this curriculum mean. It was the 21st century skills that pushed a new curriculum into the schools and into the education system in Norway. And it is a lot of research now going on. How can we do it in the education? How can we build competence that we need for the future? And you are the future. And so I hope you can play along with me a little bit, and also see, and also I hope we can have a little discussion. I would like to hear what you think, what's important in education. So, my research topic is sustainable development in education. And just now you see through the national song a little bit, I thought I was going to move around. I might do. Now I can sit. I usually do. I like moving a little bit when I talk. All right. We are up north, Norway. Our neighbor country is Sweden and Denmark, and we have, yeah. And my university is very south. We have two campuses in Kristiansand, where I live, and in Grimstad. And we have, this is just a few numbers about the university. It's not so interesting. It's just so, yeah. But we have, both campus, we have like 13,700 students. That was in 2020. I don't have the new numbers, but we might have more now. I'm not sure. And employees, I see I've written it wrong, but we have like 1,500 employees at the university. Yeah. And we have a big budget also. But we also, yeah. But it is not so big, the university. Norway is has a small population. We are approximately 6 million people living in Norway, so it's not so many. Huh? It is like Lombok, yeah. It is. But we are in a lucky position because we have a lot of oil. But we also know that oil is very bad for the future and the climate. Huh? So it is a big red cross over oil. And that means we can't keep doing what we have been doing since 1970s. We need new competence. We need something that can replace oil, but that also can give us income, you know? And so that means we need to think differently about education, because the knowledge that we used to have and that we have is not so good anymore. We need new knowledge. We need someone to find new solutions for us. We need someone to be creative. But it is too difficult for one person to do this, or for the government. They don't know how to do this. So what is the solution? We don't know. We don't know what the solution is for how to change the bad effect on climate. We don't know yet how we can change our way of living. But we need to change our mindset, and we also need to change our competence. But what kind of competence is it that we need for the future? What do you think? What competence do Indonesia need for the future? To get rid of poverty, to get good schools, to get good jobs. That's good for Indonesia, and it's good for the society. What do we need? What kind of education do we need? Because we know the education we had like 10 years ago. We cannot do it in the same way anymore. We have to change it. But then we need to think and talk together. We need to discuss and reflect. My university, we have 3 important challenges in the future. That's from our perspective in Norway. We are a rich country, but what we see, we need to be a part of the world, and we have a big responsibility. We need more future-oriented competence. We need more sustainable and ethical reflection. And we need more people to start their own business for good. That's good for society, and that's good for future. So, our university, my university, we try to think, what kind of competence, how can we do that? How can we make our students be more creative and find good solutions? And then I think all over the world, school systems are talking about 21st century skills. And they discuss different things, and they have different aims, because we have different perspectives, we are in different situations, all the countries. But 21st century skills is about critical thinking, about citizenship, about growth mindset, about communication, creativity, and collaboration. And we see that in my country, in many schools, we don't allow the students to be creative. It's been very much in the past, and I think it has been in many countries and still are. We want a reproduction of thoughts and knowledge and the way of living. But the thing is, we change our way of living. We just don't always see it. But the reproduction of knowledge can be very good, and it's very important to have knowledge. But we need to be critical about it. We know that some of the knowledge we had before COVID is wrong. Suddenly, the whole world was shaken of this COVID. Everything stopped. We got isolated. People died. Everything got difficult. And now we have new knowledge about how to live together and also what can happen. So we get new knowledge all the time, and that is important. How can young people, and like yourself, but also old people like me, how can I make sure I get new knowledge so I don't reproduce the old knowledge that's not truth anymore? How can I find truth? And that is a skill. A skill of searching for truth, of searching for solution, searching for new knowledge, searching for new research. And what my concern, I am a teacher trainer. So that means I know in the future and now we need people to come together and find solutions. You know what they do in Norway, in my country? When people get old and very sick, we put them into elder houses. Because the family work, we don't have the time to take care of them. I don't think it is like that in Indonesia. Huh? But what we see now is so many old sick people. So we don't, and the elder houses, we don't have hospitals for them anymore. So we need to find new solutions. But we don't know how to do that. What we need to do is come together and discuss. And that is why citizenship, democracy is also very important. We need to stand up and think together for solutions. So that means the children, I have an 8-year-old daughter, I have a 24-year-old daughter, and I have a 22-year-old son, is that they need to build competence in education they need to be a part of the solution. So how do we do it? How does a classroom with 21st century skills look like? I very often ask my students, imagine the classroom in primary school or in secondary school, okay? You see a classroom. What does it look like? How are the tables organized? How are the chairs organized? And what does it look like when the pupils, when the children walk into the school, the classroom? What kind of activities do they have in the classroom? I don't know much about the activities in Indonesia, but I know a lot about the activity in Norway and in Cambodia, and also been to Malawi to study this. Because very often we see them sitting in a row, listening to the teacher. Sounds familiar, or is it different? Is very much the same. So what kind of competence grow in a classroom like that? I asked the question and the computer is answering me. Hello, oh, that one. All right. But what kind of knowledge, what kind of competence grow in that classroom? What do you think? Can you speak up a little bit? What do you think? Yeah. 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 I agree with you. Because in a classroom where they sit like you do now, just listening to me, a lot of is happening here in my head. But I know that we need more competence, deep learning. I need to learn with my whole body and mind, everything. I will come back to that. So, our curriculum has changed now in primary and secondary education. And we, let me see, we have 3 interdisciplinary topics that's common from grade 1 and up to the higher secondary school. That is public health and life management. We have democracy and citizenship, and sustainable development. And those 3 topics is supposed to be a part of every day, all lessons, all subjects. Because we think that our mind, we need to not only learn how to think, but we also need to learn how to act. Because it doesn't help if we only know how to. We need to show how to. And that's a different competence. And how does teachers provide that? how can that grow in a classroom? This is from my classroom when I was teaching in primary school in Norway. But my students are going into a classroom like this, and they need competence. And in our curriculum, to help the teachers, we have learning verbs. We say we have very much focus on the verbs in learning outcome. Example, this is one example from social studies. That the children in grade 10, they need to explore, know how to explore and describe how human and indigenous rights and other international agreements and cooperation have an impact on national politics. Human life, equality. Yeah, that was double equality and equality. So if you look at that, now we don't only teach, talk about it, but the children need to know how to explore. Okay? It's not just about knowing this, but is about the competence of exploring. How do we do that? How do we teach the children how to explore? It's not about talking about it, but it is about they need to do it. They need to learn how to explore. How do I find this knowledge? And they also need to learn how to describe it. So now we have these verbs that is we focus on, is that the children in school, in primary, secondary, and upper secondary school, they need to learn how to describe, discuss, reflect, use, consider, and explore. And this is the verb that we use most, explore. And I find that interesting because as a teacher, I've always thought, okay, how can I learn my children how to know about this? Or, learn different knowledge, to have different kinds of knowledge. But now they need to learn how to act. So we're going from focus on facts, and now in schools, to be more inquiry-based. And that is a big difference for me as a teacher in school. Because I know how to teach facts, but how do I teach inquiry-based? That's something else. And one we see that research show is that we look at who has greatest impact on children's learning. Do you know who? Parents? Yeah, parents have a great impact on children's learning. That's right. Why we need to cooperate with the parents. Friends? Yeah, I agree. Friends are very important. Environment? Good. Technology? Yes. We need that, huh? To explore, to get the new knowledge. All those things are so important. Has a very big impact on learning. But what research also shows, what has the biggest, is this person. This is the picture from Cambodia in September. My daughter, she was going to school in Cambodia. This is the teacher. The teacher is the most important person for a child's learning. Who of you are going to be a teacher, you think? Anyone? But what's important? Think about it. It is a great responsibility, huh? So that means in most classrooms we have limited resources. We've been visiting a school today that had very poor resources. They had some books in the classroom. They had desks and they had chairs. All there was the teacher. Wow, what a teacher I saw. Very, very powerful and had very good interaction with its students. But that means also, here is my daughter's teacher on Gili Trovangan. We call her Kaka Icha. I love her. And she is the most important person for my daughter's learning. And this is my students. So how can I, as a teacher trainer, provide competence for students? What kind of education? How can we do it to build the competence for 21st century skills? I have some ideas, and what we work very much on in Norway is that we go from, like I said, skills to inquiry-based learning. We talk very much about deep learning. It's not only for me to remember knowledge for the test tomorrow or for the exam, but I need to understand things. I need to reflect. And I also need to be critical about the knowledge I hear and what I see around me. So in our education, we have different competence goals, but we have 3 categories. From our students, we have goals for knowledge. We have like development of school example, especially junior level, as organization understanding of the school's mandate, value-based and training courses. And we also have some skills. Our student needs to learn how to plan, implement, adapt, document, assess teaching. They need to use different kinds of teaching methodologies. They need to show that. They need to learn it. They need to train. And also to plan and lead teaching. But we also have what we call general competences. That is in pedagogy. That's my subject. So we have these 3, and that means also at the university, in the classroom, what kind of activities do we need for our students? We have rooms like this, and we have rooms like that, where we can discuss. Because it's so important, we know that if our students, if they don't have the right moral or ethical reflections, they don't pass exam. And how can I know if my students have the right attitude? If they are able to plan and they are able to meet the children that needs them and also find solutions in the classroom. I need to get to know them and I need to see them in action. So that's a challenge for me as a teacher trainer. And I think it's also a challenge for the culture at university, because this is the way we always do it. In Norway, in many countries, and I think maybe also here sometimes. I don't know. Now I'm talking about my country, okay? Yeah. So this is the end of it. But what I would like to hear, and that's why I also contacted Devi, and that's why I also am here, because I would like to hear, what do you think is important? What kind of competence do Indonesia need for the future? Maybe you haven't thought of it, but you are a part of it. How can we create the future we need? I talked more than 30 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. I'm sorry, but if you have questions, but would also love to hear your thoughts the on these topics. Yeah.
Sure. I have to stand up. First of all, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Everyone, and hi, Miss Birgitte Wergeland. Is that correct pronunciation? I'm sorry. Hi, everyone. I'm semester 8 student here, education, English education. I am now take a part-time job as a tutor, English tutor. Sometimes I ask about, is this the correct way to teach someone like that? Even though my students are very happy when they are learning with me, but I'm still thinking about if in the future, not everyone accept this way of teaching. Every single student have different interests on how the teacher teach them. So my question is, how can we put the same feeling or simply in a classroom? How can someone like us happy to learn together, not just about, okay, this is a teacher, this is a student, but someone that share the knowledge to each other. And you ask us about what is the correct or the best competence that Indonesia needs. Actually, there are so many problems in Indonesia, miss. Even in this university, about how to teach. And I see that even a senior teacher, the way they teaching us, like our Gen Z, like that, sometimes we feel like, I don't like the way you teach in our heart, right? But we can say that we just follow the rules and the order, regulation, like that. And for us, as the teacher in the future, we don't want to be like that person again. We want to find other ways. And my question is, as you, the teacher trainer, have, I do believe, a huge responsibility other than just a teacher like that. You are a teacher trainer. And what you see as the problem of the teacher, as the, we say, general in this world, that in some country teacher are good, in some country teacher are bad, or can say that average for them is not really good to teach, like the way you teach is not like that. Something, question like that, until this time I'm still asking, as I'm really interested in making some program to teach student in a very isolated village like that, not just approach people in the city like that, but one thing that we can give, but it just touch someone's heart and they want to do a good thing in the future like that. You may got my question. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Big thoughts. Thank you. What do you think? It's difficult, isn't it? Yeah. I think um, I think we all know about these problems, but maybe on different kinds of things. But we, and what we do in my country is that we try to establish a culture in every school, a culture that we say for competence building have to go, well, the teachers have to do the work. They have to find the solutions, but they have to do it together. So now is actually a part of a law. We are all, as teachers, committed to be a part of oh, the English. Your English is so much better than mine. But we have to take part of the colleague, oh, I'm trying. All the teachers in the school. We have all the colleagues. Like today, they will. Yes, but also like having workshops together, but through discussions. We need to discuss, the teachers at the school, together with the principal and the leader, need to discuss how can we do it in our school, because all schools are so different. And students, pupils, children are different. And we also have different problems. Depends on if it is in the city or rural area. And so that's why we need to create a culture where we discuss and we can sit down and find solutions for our school. Yeah? But it's not easy to do that. And that means also we need a strong leader who see that and know how to do that. And then we need, we talk very much about empowering people, encouraging people. It is. And that's why I think it's so important we start with the small children, to be interested in the small children. What do you think? Listening to them. Make them think, make them reflect. Talk with them. Do you find it? Do you know how we can do this? Or, make the children, make everyone feel important. Because it is together we find the solutions. I keep repeating that. But it's not easy. I don't know. You have to get into the classroom and start. I think it's important that you do. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, I'm Atifa Muda Putri. You can call me Atifa. I'm from English Department, semester 2. Oh, second semester, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
My English is so bad, but I'm trying to make you understand.
Oh, you're good.
As we know that in Indonesia, we have more than 2,075 million people, and this is a very large number. I want to ask you something. In your opinion, is it optimal if we have more than 13 students in one class? And is it not optimal? And how to maximize learning activities if we don't have enough resource? That's all from me. Thank you. I'm trying to make you understand with my question, but if you don't understand, I can explain again to you. Thank you.
Thank you for a very important question. And I have the same question myself. I don't have the answer, I'm afraid. But I believe very, very strongly in child-centered learning or student-centered learning. And I know it's so many ways of organizing that. But we need to learn. It is many methodologies that can help big classrooms. So like in Norway, we have classes with 30 children. And we have some classes with 70 children. But then we also have 3 teachers in that class. But then we need to know how can we organize. So the children are not only listening, but they are active, But it is very many methodologies how to do that. And I think it is important that I teach my students how to do it. And that's why I think the teacher education should be practical and theoretical. We need to show by doing, learn by doing. But what is the perfect number? It depends on how big room you have, how many teachers you have in one room. If it is only one teacher, oh, 30 children, 30 students is a lot. Yeah.
Yes, of course.
It is. But that's reality. It is, I think, in most countries. Yeah. But it is always, if we are curious, if we want to learn, it's always another way of doing things. It's about exploring. Sometimes I fail as a teacher, but I keep trying. I keep trying. You have to keep trying. You do that. Explore. Be curious. Yeah. It's not an answer because it's not a right answer for it. I don't know, but I believe that it's always different things of doing things, and we should try to find out how. And that's a part of the teacher's competence. That I have a way of, okay, I don't know how. And then maybe it's also embarrassing sometimes to tell my colleagues, I don't know how to do this. Do you know? Can you help me? Yeah. That's allowed.
Okay, thank
right.
you for your answer.
Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Introducing me this, my name is Final. My full name Final Junior Harian. You can call me Final. I'm from Sociology Educational Study Program of this faculty. And my opening statement is maybe same like her. I don't have so good English in communication, so I just try. I hope you can understand what I want to say and I want to deliver to you. All right, about my question, I have some opening statement and opening explanation about how the general situation of this educational system in this country, in Indonesia. Right now, some a figure of national figure had said Indonesia doesn't lack smart people, but Indonesia lack honest people. That is said. That means the brain learning, brain building is all in our country. We train to improve our brain, our knowledge, our insight, and our competence, our skill. But one more, maybe we forget about our country in Indonesia, and because we bring Eastern culture, in we have politeness, and this is as our characteristic of this country. And like what you explained just now, the 21st century skill we need to communication, mind growth, citizenship, critical thinking, creativity, and collaboration. But maybe I just want to add one, increase one is about character. So my question is, how important character building in educational system in a country, especially in Indonesia. And the second, I wanna ask about not ask, but I wanna give some comment of what is your teacher. You said to us, hope you to be a teacher to us, but maybe you know how teacher in this country is not actually in general situation is like maybe some situation the teacher is not to respect job. Teacher is not a good job in this country because we have a lot of teacher, and this university, this faculty is the most student we have in this faculty than the other faculty in this university. And maybe what's your question and your statement, hope you to be a teacher, that I will think twice to the teacher in this country if our country just only like this situation until the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your thoughts. Character building is very, I think, what we all have in mind. It is very important. it is. I like very much Aristoteles. He has a word called phronesis, and that is about character building. And the way he say we can do, we have to learn or building character through interaction and acting, because it is not on a chair like you sit now. We can learn character building. We can learn about it, but not actually doing it. Yeah. But thank you very much for sharing your thoughts, and also some of the problems maybe this country have, but I think we all have part of also. I know it also from my country. Yeah. Thank you very much. I have a boat to reach to Gility. Yes. But since you are many students here, and maybe not all of you are going to be teachers, but you are all going to be a part of the society, a part of the world. So I think wherever we are, as a family member, as a child, or as an adult, as a father, as a mother, we need to think about the future and how we can create the future we like to have. I think we need to do every day, actually. Yeah. Thank you very much for listening and for sharing your thoughts and questions. And I wish you all good luck in your studies. Yeah. And thank you for your time. Thank you.